welcome back. I am Darcy Darkness, and this is Confessions from the Dark Side. How are we all doing in this wonderful community? And today I bring to you another wee short podcast, but in a different kind of format, changing it up, kind of bringing two topics from obviously a movie perspective and also from real life with mental health. And I'm going to get the disclaimer out the way, first of all, just in case. Of course, we are full of so much adult content, and some of you may think this is unnecessary, and some of you may think that this isn't needed. If you're one of these people, then thanks for checking us out. But I will say this only once. If you can't stand the heat, then get the fuck out of my kitchen. Now, for everyone else who likes what we have here, then regular scheduled programming will continue. Shall we get started? Are we ready? I was having a discussion with Lunar about, almost 2 weeks ago, I'd say. And I was watching the movie Glass. Now, I went to see Glass at the cinema. The same with Split. I seen Unbreakable, not at the cinema, but it was out a very long time ago and I saw it on DVD. I've watched it many times. Bruce Willis, awesome. Again, with Split, James McAvoy is amazing. Anya Taylor-Joy, amazing. Again, Samuel Jackson, again, he was in Unbreakable and he was also in at the end of Split as well. For the tying the kind of stories together for the trilogy that M. Night brought to the big screen. And when I was watching Glass, I don't know if it was like the kind of mood I was in, or I was maybe just seeing the movie differently because of the things that have happened in my life over the past few years that really kind of, when I watched Glass, I actually had to leave the room because I was so overwhelmed, especially for what happens to Kevin, who is the guy James McAvoy plays. You know, he plays the Beast and he has all these different personalities. He has DID, which is dissociative identity disorder. And it was his storyline that really got me. And I kept asking myself these questions. Have you ever rewatched a movie that just awakened you, for one? Is there something you may have been, yeah, I understand this now. Why do I understand it now? Why did I not understand it before? Not saying that you didn't understand the premise of the story and what M. Night was actually trying to do, but has it awakened something and made you understand maybe yourself or a situation? Is there a movie that has shocked you to your core in a time where your life may have hit a crossroads, or maybe you were lost and you weren't aware and this has brought you into the light and made you think, the fuck, man? Is what's been going on with me? Is this what it feels like? Because we decided that we were going to do our own type of breakdowns because, again, Luna, he's male, and I am not male. I'm not trans, as some people have asked me. I am a biological woman. It's from two different minds, two different backgrounds, two different ages, and two people similar from different parts of the world who are going through different things, and how we take the story, the trilogy that M. Night had brought to the screen. And we had so much discussion about what this story actually means and what other people have actually, like, yeah, like, people are thinking, yeah, it's about mental health, and yes, it's really sad, and some people don't get the sad aspect of it, and I really, really did get the sad aspect of it. It was just really, well, an eye-opener for me. It really, really was. When they were in the hospital, well, first of all, when Glass start, it's showing you, obviously, after the beast has manifested itself from Split, it continues on, and it's Hedwig, which is the wee boy, the wee 9-year-old boy, that the personality that James McAvoy plays really, really well. He's so funny, but it's just so sad when they're explaining that he is still a wee boy, and it's thinking, right, Hedwig, right, he's another personality, but is this similar to what Kevin was like growing up? Kevin is actually the main, he is the person that has DID, and all the other personalities seem to be either someone that he's maybe created from things around him and personalities he needed. Because you find out that Kevin's dad didn't disappear, he died. He was on the infamous train that Bruce Willis was on, and that Samuel Jackson's character, Mr. Glass, had actually went to prison for, because he actually derailed that train that took out so many people and changed people's lives. I mean, you don't find this out until you start to actually add bits together here and there from Split, then rewatching Unbreakable, and then watching Glass. And because Samuel Jackson's character has been in a facility since the end of the Unbreakable films for what his actions he did, for this universe that he was trying to show people. Now, Glass has loads of things going on. In these films, there is lots of things going on. And the mental health aspect we have spoke about plenty, that I think for especially DID, there's not many TV shows or movies or books or anything like that that actually properly describe and show you what someone would go through on a daily basis. I'm not saying that every DID has the same day every day. Sometimes they don't. It just depends on what triggers them and what is going on in their life. I don't have DID. I don't know anybody with DID. And it breaks my heart to know that there's so many people out there that have like a personality disorder with their mental health. And I can't imagine what it's like to be them. I've been diagnosed with clinical depression, but I also have a delayed bereavement reaction, it's called, and apparently it's pretty common with people who have autism, especially Asperger's like myself. I wasn't diagnosed until I was 30, until after I had my son, and I've spoke about that before, that would my life be different if I had the support and the help and mental health to actually help me process things and give me ways and outlets to actually process things. Even the simplest things can be overwhelming for me, and some people don't get that. Literally, when I was watching Glass, I actually felt goosebumps, which is something that I get when I get them when I'm happy, especially at events like gigs and stuff, hearing music, certain instruments, drums especially, guitar solos especially, and certain obviously people's pitches of their voice can cause it, but it's not a painful and like upsetting type of feeling. I love that feeling, but sometimes when I'm overwhelmed, when it's the other side of the scale, where I'm actually don't even know I'm upset, sometimes I don't even know I'm crying. My husband had actually said it's pretty funny, but he's not meaning funny in a bad way. He says that when you are incredibly upset and everything that has happened, and the death of my dad when I was 20, because he died suddenly, the death of my mum in 2022, which again was sudden, I get incredibly angry and I completely shut myself off. I don't know if anybody else is like that, whether they're autistic or they have Asperger's or any other women who go through this. But I go incredibly angry and I can't control my emotions. And anger for me isn't like, just like being aggressive. It's more like I'm just angry and I can't tell you why. I can't tell you how I got there. I can't tell you who made me like that. It just happens. And watching what Kevin goes through in Glass, it caused me to burst into tears. I had to go to the bathroom. I had to just try and hide from my family that I was upset and I was showing emotion, because everybody seems to think that I'm a fucking robot and I don't know how to cry. I do know how to cry. I just don't like crying. I just don't see the point in crying, because it makes me feel worse. I don't know about you, but it does. And just watching when he realised when they were in that facility that they even brought for a reason to be together, and you find it out that when they're in the facility that they're trying to make out that there's nothing wrong with them, that they are not superheroes, they are not villains, they are not anything, they are not any of these things. And the doctor, the psychiatrist, Dr. Ellie Staple, who's played by the magnificent Sarah Paulson. She is amazing. Absolutely amazing in this film. She always is, though. We can remember her from American Gothic. Someone's at the door. Someone's at the door. When she was talking to them as individuals, David, who is Bruce Willis, Elijah Price, who's Mr. Glass, who's Samuel L. Jackson, and also the Kevin, who plays a number of personalities: Hedwig, Patricia, Jade, Barry, the Beast, Hedwig, Ian, Mary Reynolds, Norma, Jalen, Kat, BT Kevin Wendell Crumb, who's the original, he's the guy, Mr. Pritchard, Felida, Luke, Goddard, Samuel, and Polly Dennis as well. There is so many different personalities, and what was so powerful for me was in that iconic scene where they're in that pinkish room and they're all around Sarah Paulson, and she's telling them that they are not superheroes, they don't have super abilities or anything like that, that they're just men, that they've created this, but it has to stop. Which we find out again, sorry, this is a spoiler, but we find out that she's part of an organisation, the Clover Initiative, and it's their job to take out people like this, to make them feel that they are not superhuman, that they cannot do these things, like they're trying to control people with abilities and people who maybe have a superhuman ability, because we've seen our human bodies do so many amazing things, not only our brains but our physical bodies, and evolution of humans, basically, from obviously Neanderthal to present day humans. There's again a few things that aren't very, very similar and haven't changed at all. And there's things that have changed, and some people just don't want to accept those changes. I think I'm kind of like that when it's accepting the change that I myself have become, like the I was always the adult, obviously. When the things that have happened to me, the losses of my parents, it made me realise that there's no security in it anymore, because parents are your protectors. They're supposed to protect you from everything. And there's, I am the parent and I am the protector now, and everything has fell on my shoulders. And it's like, can I fucking handle this? Being the adult, being the protector, and being everything. I just wouldn't want my son to actually have to go through what I have to go through, and I know fine well I'm not going to live forever. And that's what Kevin is like when he actually has the hold of his body and his mind. He realizes that he has to come into the light, as they keep saying in the film. You have to come into the light. I don't get to have the light. You hear Hedwig talking about it quite a lot. I don't get to be in the light. The Beast as well, he's another protector. He protects everyone. Didn't actually go for Anya Taylor-Joy's character because she herself, which is Casey, she herself was abused by her uncle, and her uncle's in jail now, and she says that to him, that he can't hurt me anymore. I sent him to jail because James McAvoy's character, Kevin Wendell Crumb, his mum was his abuser. His mum was absolutely horrible to him growing up, and I don't think that would have helped with his DID. It seemed to be that they were either looking at the dad may have had DID, because when you see a clip when they're making the stories all line up, Elijah, you see everything that he's done from Unbreakable right up until now, even with Wendell Crumb and David Dunn, that he did this for a reason. They all had to meet, there all had to be a showdown. It was an origin story that ended with pretty much everyone being taken out. It's when he's the Beast, sorry, Kevin, and whatever personality that he is at a time, is working with Elijah in the actual facility, and he's going to break out. And then you think that he wants to break out, but he doesn't want to break out. Elijah goes into the footage and the security footage for the hospital, and he downloads it and sends it to someone else so it can be released to show what everyone is doing. They're trying to hide what is going on, and now that is going on all over the world, whether it's doing mental health or not. It's like what they call false flag. They want you to look over here and not look over there where the shit is going on. They just flood social media and the media with false stories, false narratives, so you don't even question what the fuck is going on behind the curtain. And this movie was just like that. The things that were going on behind the curtain, you either picked them up or you pick them up when you watch the movie when you're in a different mood or a different state, as you would. I couldn't believe that I went to see this at the cinema and I was not emotional at all when I saw it. It was just when they're all fighting against each other, the Beast is there, and you see that when someone is in pain or been hurt or has been hurt by someone, the Beast actually, you could see the kind of recoil Like, he's like, I can't attack you. You're a victim. You're also a victim. Am I supposed to protect you now? Have I to protect you? And there's a connection between her and Kevin, Wendell Crumb. If you say his name over and over again, usually he will actually come into the light. He will take over. And when they're doing the showdown at the end, where you've got David being attacked by the Clover Initiative and they're like trying to drown him, he's also with the beast in the big water tank. Elijah's there, his mum's there, even Casey is there, and Joseph, who is David's son, he is there watching everything going down. Like, they're taking each other apart. It's like that had to happen for the world to see that people like this exist. When Kevin has been shot when he's in the beast, everybody's trying to like take over, and she asks for Kevin to come to the light, to stay in the light when he's been shot and he knows he's dying, and all the personalities are like really scared. You hear Hedwig and stuff, he is absolutely petrified. And when he dies, it's just Anya Taylor-Joy was amazing in that film. She's such an amazing actress. And when she was with him at the end, it was just absolutely heartbreaking for me. I don't know what the hell it triggered in me, but it triggered something. And even thinking about it right now, I'm still like, it's just, this movie has triggered something because I have not been right. It's been 10 days and it's literally like, it's unplugged something and I don't know how to get it back. Not that being upset or crying or handling your grief, or it's weird. I just don't understand why you have to cry to make yourself feel better, or why I'm so angry and and not being able to sleep and not being able to do anything. But M Night, he's really, it was powerful in ways that I can't even explain. It made me focus on the little things as well of the movie that you don't actually always take into account. I was actually talking about it to my sister-in-law as well when we were watching the film, that everything's lined up. These perfect shots, perfect symmetry, and in a fucked up situation in a fucked up world. All these just simple, intricate things in the background, just there. And that kind of gave me peace, if that's weird. I was kind of relaxed when things were, they looked perfect and aesthetically pleasing. It kind of gave me a sense of peace to see that. When I was overwhelmed, I had other things to kind of focus on. I still, again, can't get over. Have you watched any movies that you can? So, my take on watching Glass and the trilogy recently has made me see the movie, open my eyes a little to things I already know, but also things that maybe I wasn't ready to process or come to terms with. So seeing it from like a different perspective, different angle, it's like I was looking from the outside in instead of from the inside out, or vice versa. And I agree with Lunar where he said that it was a underrated movie that was based around mental health and mental illness. Most people wouldn't have seen it from Unbreakable, like that kind of standpoint, but when you watch Split and then you watch Glass, then it makes much more sense. It's more of a better portrayal for this generation to understand what three different individuals with different starts in life, different lives, different outcomes, and the decisions that they've made, and how, again, they've adapted or how they've had to become the protectors, become the monsters within the protectors, or the protector is the monster, and types of thing. It's very complex, but it's also very simple. There's always going to be a bad guy and there's always going to be a hero. I noticed when I was watching the film, though, that Elijah, who's Glass, they make him out to be the enemy and the villain. He did some right abhorrent things, don't get me wrong, the character, but he had enough things as well. He had a rare condition. He had brittle bones, so he couldn't do the normal things that kids did. He couldn't have fun. You see that some of the things that he tried to do as a kid, he actually hurt himself. So therefore, his bones were like glass, so he couldn't do anything. So he was living in his head, and he obviously had created a universe within himself to, because he's like a savant, crazy intelligent guy, and all he had was time to sit and think and watch the world go by. So him creating what he created, even though he did kill people and take people out the game, it's like, did he know that this shit was going to happen? He'd read enough comic books and he had a comic book store, and he believed in the universes of good versus evil and how human are good versus evil and evil versus good. And even the hero can become the villain, and the villain can become the hero. Because he's supposed to have apparently 24 personalities as well. That was Kevin Wendell Crumb. You didn't see them all though. Seen randomly more and additional ones in Glass to Split, showing you how someone's brain works. Again, people don't take into account that David would have had some sort of mental health problems as well, or some sort of affliction, because he was strong. He didn't really get sick. He didn't or anything like that. And he must be thinking, am I superhuman? Am I a superhero or am the villain? Why did I walk away from that accident, that train wreck? Why the hell did I walk away but others didn't? He would have a lot of guilt and a lot of things he'd have to process, but he was trying to do something good by using his abilities and his power to actually take down bad people and people who were hurting others. But he became an enemy, it was like, because he was trying to show people that this is, I've helped people, I haven't hurt people, but people from like the Clover Initiative were making it out that David was a bad guy, and so was Glass, and so was Kevin. They were all bad, and they all had to stop this from actually causing maybe more people to think, have I got a superpower? Can I do something? Can I protect not just my family, but everybody else? And that's the thing that I feel that maybe that's what made me very overwhelmed and emotional, was the fact that I am a protector, I'm a mother. I have a son and my dogs. I'm very when my mum died, she was like the only kind of connection I had. And I cut off my family as well for the fact that they are very toxic, and I didn't want to put my son through the kind of childhood that I had and adulthood, because I didn't understand me, they didn't understand me, so I was the fucking problem, and I was always the fucking problem, and that is not the fucking problem here, it's them. They couldn't handle me. They wanted to basically put everything down to bad behaviour and everything like that. They wanted to make me feel that there was something wrong with me and I was different, and fuck that shit. I didn't want that for my son. So me being a protector in that aspect and cutting them off, I didn't just lose my mum and my center, my everything. I lost a part of me that can never be replaced. Even with me being a mother, I can't replace my mum. I can't replace my dad. I can't replace my family that I walked the fuck away from because I'd wanted to protect my son. I walked away because I didn't want to have to deal with my grief and their shit. And that's what it feels like in Glass. I think that was like me waking up and realizing that I did something as a protector to protect not only myself but my son and my family from people that I do not want to associate with. People who bring out the worst in me, or they want me to be the worst person that I am or can be, because look, we're human beings and shit fucking happens. And that's what I feel like I got out of watching Glass recently and thinking about all the shit that all these different personalities and different people go through. Was I the villain of my own story? Possibly. Being too hard on myself and not accepting the fact that I have Asperger's, not accepting the fact that I'm different, not accepting the fact that it's okay to be like that and fuck everybody else, because when I was growing up I usually didn't care. I was more likely to be happy on my own. It would be nice to have a friend or have someone that I could really trust, and maybe just having that one friend who is actually genuine, I may have turned out differently, you never know. But for me, I felt like I had no one. And I know that's selfish as fuck to say because I have a husband. And I've said that to him, and it makes me sound terrible that I felt like I was so alone, that I had no one to talk to about it. And trying to be comfort someone with autism, especially Asperger's, it's people just don't get it. A hug doesn't do anything. A hug sometimes feels like people are hurting me. People walk too close to me and it feels like they're literally stepping on top of me. It's weird how my boundaries are way different, and when I am upset the way I am right now, my boundaries are weird. So weird that I can't even describe them. Unless you have Asperger's yourself, then everybody is different, even with Asperger's as well, male and female, we're all different. But glass is really still affecting me in such a way that I can't even contemplate how the fuck am I supposed to process all this. That I am now the adult, I am a protector, I already knew that I was not in charge, but it's my job to raise my son and raise him to be a better person than some people out there, to show him the difference between right and wrong, to nurture him and give him everything, which is what I already do. But it's a part of me that thinks there's darkness out there, and what the fuck's going to happen to my son when he hits this age, and what's going to happen like when he like does his transition to secondary school, which is this year, which has been really overwhelming for me because he's not just going for primary school, he's going to secondary school, and he's also going to be going to a different school and not his actual school he's supposed to go to, because I want him to go to a school that's quieter and maybe can support him better than his actual predominant school that he's supposed to go to. I just want him to have a good childhood at school, because he hasn't had the best at primary school because he has Asperger's. He's in mainstream school even though he's at a base school. They treat him differently, and he has additional needs. He's autistic with ADHD traits, and he has anxiety as well. So it's not nice them shoving him out of class with like 30 kids and expecting them to play ball just because he has a high IQ and he can maybe process things a wee bit better than some kids with autism. But there's times where he can't and he is struggling and they don't fucking listen. They just don't give a fuck. And I've already been down this route with the school constantly. And this is what I don't want him to do, is to have a childhood like mine where you don't want to go to school and you don't want to be part of things and you don't want to belong. I don't want him to feel like an outcast when he doesn't have to be. An outcast is fine, but I want him to feel like he has a place to belong. So going to a school, having friends, having peers, these simple things people don't fucking get. And again, in Glass and in the Unbreakable Trilogy, these guys only actually technically have themselves and them then. You've got these three guys, three different personalities, three different people who have gone through loads of shit in their life and they've been given these gifts. And you don't know, it's like, have they been abusing them? Have they? Has this kind of affliction made them. Has this affliction just made them realize that they are the only people who can understand what each of them go through? That's the questions for this movie that I was asking myself. So I'm just reading through some of the conversation that we had, and we both agree that James McAvoy played a fucking belter of a fucking character. He's a very, very, very talented man, for him to bring all those personalities to the big screen, and for him to transform into the beast, become the animal even protector. I can't fault the guy, man. He's done so many different movies and he's progressed so well. And I can remember him in Shameless in the UK. I can remember him when he was in. What else was he in? He was in. Oh, he played Mr. Tomless in Lion, Witch, and Wardrobe. He also was Professor X. He's also been in His Dark Materials. He's a thespian as well, so he's a proper actor. Does theatre as well, and he still brings all these characters to life. He's done so much, and I really feel that the guy should do more things that shows his talent. I can't believe that the guys went from Shameless basically to where he is today. and Split. It's the same way again. Bruce Willis, he has had a remarkable career, and the poor guy is he's struggling. He was diagnosed with like that sort of dementia type thing. Doesn't sometimes can't speak, and for someone to be this big blockbuster actor and this big presence to have been dealt this sort of end. His life isn't over yet, but I can't imagine watching someone that I care about go through that. I can't imagine what it was like for him to go through that. To maybe feel like, is there something wrong with me? There's something up with me. There definitely is something up with me. I need to get tested. What the fuck? And seeing him, it is just so sad. Family are so supportive, so kind to him, and he's again in the part of his life where he's like a grandfather and things like that, and he, even though he's there, he's not all there, like to be the grandfather, like the father he was to his girls, and then being dealt a shitty hand, man. And it's sad, so fucking sad to think that a man, an actor with a career that he's had, and this is his end. And you won't see him in movies. I know he sold his likeness and things like that, and his voice, so they continue to be used. But it's heartbreaking. Absolutely heartbreaking. Samuel Jackson played Elijah very well. Very, very well. But again, Samuel Jackson, another guy, again, Coming to America, he literally was the guy who was the robber in Coming to America in the McDowell's restaurant to where he is today in the movies that he has done. And he is known for so many roles and so many amazing one-liners from movies. He was amazing in Pulp Fiction. Samuel Jackson. I absolutely love him in Long Kiss Goodnight. It's one of my favourite movies. It's such a fucking good movie. But he, even when he's in a small role, like he was in Argyle, and he was good in Argyle, but he wasn't in it for a long. He wasn't in it. He wasn't like a big actor in that movie. It was more, that movie was all about basically how many actors we can get, because it wasn't really that great for story, to be honest. So when you watched Glass or Unbreakable or Split, what was the kind of take did you get from it? What made did it open your eyes, or is there another movie that opened your eyes that gave you the holy fuck? That's what that's about, or holy fuck, is that what's been happening to me? Giving you a realization that all is not well, and don't worry because we will get through this. Is there something that you've struggled to process that a movie randomly has done it for you? Just a wee light bulb moment. We talk about mental health a lot on our podcast, and yes, we love horror movies and we love gore and everything like that, but we have been through many different things. It wouldn't be life if you didn't go through things. And we like to touch on the fact that not everybody's having the greatest of days, not everybody's been having the greatest of times, and you never know what the person on the other side is going through on a day-to-day basis. You don't know. You don't. People wear masks every single day. My channel is called Behind the Mask Reviews for many reasons, and one is about, I don't think my content should be about how I look, for one. Behind the Mask Reviews is also because even though I want to have my voice online, I also want to protect my family and protect anyone involved, anybody in my life. So this is more of a, again, touchy subject with people. Let us know in the comments below. Is there a movie that's made you say, oh my god, is that what's been wrong with me? Is this what's been going on? And oh my god, this has just opened my eyes. Is there something, a movie that's overwhelmed you to the point where you literally have burst into tears like I have? Is there something you may have been, I understand this, now I can just move on and start rebuilding, make myself better? Well, let us know. We would really like to know. This was a realization on how some movies don't get the acknowledgement that they should, and also some movies that maybe not wake us up until we need them to. I am Darcy Darkness, and this is Confessions from the Dark Side, and this is my take on how this universe, the split, unbreakable glass universe, overwhelmed me to the point of tears. I was confused and lost in my own head until my brain realized that My grief was not over with. My journey hadn't even started yet. And it's all about how having to adapt for the future, adapt myself because I am the protector. I am what my mum was for me, I am for my son. One day he'll have to go through that. And I just hope that he has the support that I didn't have then, like I have now, when he has to go through that. And I hope he has someone there protecting him, and he'll no doubt be protecting them. And I hope everyone is looking after themselves. And remember, you can reach out to us at any point, at any time. You can come on and talk to us when we're on Twitch, when we're gaming, because we've always got the chat open. There is a Discord link in my Twitch if you want to join my actual Discord and not the one. Because I don't think we don't have one for our channel, but I do have one for my own, and we do have voice channels in there that are private. If you really want to speak to someone, if you want to reach out, if you want to email because you don't feel comfortable in speaking to strangers, that's okay. But please don't ever think that there is no one there out there to listen and help you when things aren't going good. Because if you have no one to turn to, then things can be a lot more scarier than they actually seem. And I don't want anyone ever to feel that way. Ever. Thanks for listening to the take on how M. Night has brought me out of the darkness and into the light, and helping me realize that I can't push my grief away or to the back of my mind. I have to deal with it now. I can't have it controlling my life and taking over. I've got to harness that shit and use it as a weapon, or turn it around and make it my shield, protecting me from everything and everyone. And I'll see you in the next one. I am Darcy Darkness. And as I said, you can look us up on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and at confessionsfromthedarkside@gmail.com. And I have a channel that is Behind the Mash Reviews, and that email address is at gmail.com. I have a YouTube, a Twitch, a Kick, and an Instagram. And Lunar has a Twitch, a YouTube, and an Instagram, which you can check him out too. And he is lunarxrising@gmail.com too. So I will leave you with this. Take care. Look after yourself. Don't be too hard on yourself. And if there's something that makes you happy, that you're not hurting yourself or anyone else, please do so. Please do these things to make your not only your heart happy, but also your brain and everything else. We want to be happy, and we want to move on from the things that upset us and overwhelm us and keep us down. But let us know in the comments what movie has opened your eyes to maybe something that has been causing you issues in your life, maybe, or just let us know. You're not alone, and we are here. And I'm Darcy Darkness, and this is Confessions from the Dark Side. Later.